Staying in Africa, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa mentioned today that a process should be set in place for the withdrawal of uninvited foreign armed forces from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He highlighted that several EAC countries, including Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania, and Rwanda, share borders with Congo and are directly impacted by the escalation in the east of the country. He also said the measures taken in the summit would finally lead to the drawdown of the troops from the SADC mission in Congo. The unprecedented summit hosted by Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's largest city, brought together heads of state from the 6-member EAC and the 16-member SADC. Defense chiefs of the two African blocs were asked to meet within 5 days to provide technical direction to implement a ceasefire and secure Goma. And for more on this, I am joined by Global Affairs analyst Amuda Mosigbodi via Zoom here in Nigeria. Good to have you join us.
Thank you so much for having me, Patricia.
I know you followed the introduction of this conversation where President Cyril Ramaphosa has now said that a process should be set in place to ensure that foreign troops are displaced or removed from, or withdraw rather, from DR Congo. But I just wanted to ask you how much you think that foreign actors have complicated the peace efforts in DR Congo.
Without doubt, if you want to trace back the origin of the crisis, then you go back to the Rwandan crisis of 1994 and how the crisis between the Hutu and the Tutsi led to spillover to other surrounding or neighboring countries like Congo, like Burundi, and the like. And more importantly, how you also see that Rwanda and of course some other countries played a major role in change in government in Congo. So getting to this point, it is not surprising because what we are still dealing with at the moment is a spillover of what happened in 1994. Now, interestingly, our concern seems to be on African countries or neighboring African countries, but we are talking less about the complicity of countries like France, the UK, the US, China, Russia, in fact, even the EU in this crisis. And that's where I feel that we need to beam our searchlight on. And this also tells us why the crisis in Congo seems complicated. Now, Ramaphosa is saying, no, all foreign actors should be ready to leave. But then the question also is that these conflicts resolutor, or let's say this arbitrator that South Africa is presenting itself as, is this arbitrator also neutral? So it creates a fundamental problem in how the conflict is panning out.
I mean, South Africa, South Africa is not the only country here mediating. It seems to be leading the conversation quite all right, but it was a meeting of SADC and EAC countries. But I understand you because South Africa also has it has its own interest in the war. But I also wanted to ask you, because one of the key decisions that was taken is the future inclusion of state and non-state actors like the M23 in future talks. And I want to ask you what your thought is on that inclusive approach.
Well, the truth is, if you want to include non-state actors like M23 in the crisis, then we may definitely be giving credence to these non-state actors as being stronger than the state. And as a statist that I am, I do not believe that we should involve them. However, on the ground of diplomacy, this crisis has gone beyond theories and, of course, conservatism. We may need to look at the proactive action. And it will mean that bringing M23 into the fray of the discussion. But this is the implication. If we bring M23 into the fray of discussion, it means that Rwanda has won. If we bring M23 into this discussion, it means that the sphere of influence of Kigali is expanded. It also means that Burundi becomes threatened. It means that Congo is also threatened. It means that the sphere of influence of South Africa becomes depleted. So it's multifaceted. Now, it's not about, it's kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if we say we're not also bringing M23 into the discussion, don't forget that this group has gone beyond the old Tutsi. Yes, you can still say that it has a Tutsi embellishment that it has, but then it is in control of the East. And to displace them would mean that we may go the route of another Syria here in Africa. So it speaks a lot. Now, I really do not decide whether we should involve M23. Like I said, involving them on one side would mean that some parties have lost, and it will be a win-win situation for all the parties. But not also involving them, I do not see how we want to resolve that conflict without involving them.
It does seem that they would be, if you do involve them, they are going to be negotiating from a position of strength, considering that they now have Goma and they have set up an administration there. So I'm wondering what the possibility is for a diplomatic solution. Will they be willing to give up Goma?
Well, I don't think they'll be willing to give up Goma. Don't forget that what we have here is just the hand of Esau, but the voice of Jacob. We only see M23, but we know that beyond M23, there is a silent tone, which is Kigali. And Kigali is trying to prove a message, is trying to expand its sphere of influence and prove a message to Kinshasa. Now, if that is the case, if you do not involve M23, all you need to do to route M23, for instance, is to deal with the major sponsor. But the major sponsor is not also an easy prize in this situation. So if you don't involve them, well, there will be a crisis. If you also involve them, it would also mean that the government in Kinshasa may begin to get its backs ready to leave government. So it's a very complicated issue, really.
Interesting development. Thanks so much for your time, as always, Global Affairs Analyst Amuda Musibodi.